Mother Nature can be downright terrifying with the shocking number of animals out there that could kill us. Some can rip your face off. Others might poison you and send you to the great beyond if you ingest them, while others can crush you with their sheer mass like you were a little marshmallow. What if I told you things used to be worse? Yep, much, much worse. A lot of animals that no longer exist were the stuff of nightmares. Thankfully, they weren't frightening enough to scare off extinction. Of course, we all would have wanted a tamed little Tyrannosaurus Rex for our 6th birthday. But let's face it, the world is better off without some of these blood-curdling creatures. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Forever Green. And in today's video, we're going to be showing you some nightmarish animals such as snakes that could eat a crocodile, crocodiles that could eat a dinosaur, and beasts you generally don't want to exist at the same time as you. So grab some extra pants and let's go. Arthropleura. If you've ever walked in the woods, bumped into centipedes and millipedes and got scared witless, then you might be among those thankful that the Arthropleura is now extinct. And the name hints that these guys, or should I say were, a genus of extinct millipede species that grew to horrendous sizes, with the smallest of them measuring about just a foot long. For comparison, the littlest Arthropleura that existed was as long as your medium-sized pizza. Sorry I had to bring pizza into this. I know just how much we love them. Meanwhile, a species identified as the Arthropleura armata is believed to be the largest land invertebrate to ever live, measuring more than 8 feet long and about 2 feet wide. Now that's a bug you don't want to run into during your morning jog. Lucky for you and me, we don't have to worry about such a horror bug as they went extinct some 300 million years ago when the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere fell. I can't think of an insecticide that could kill such an enormous bug. Good thing Mother Nature took care of them herself. The only consolation we might have is that they were believed to be herbivorous, or maybe that's just what they want us to think. Woolly rhinos. Rhinoceroses are some of the most aggressive and territorial land animals. Now imagine a rhino with a 5-foot-long horn charging at you. But that's not all. Then imagine the rhino being 11 feet long and weighing about 6,000 pounds. It's the stuff of nightmares. But not to worry, woolly rhinoceroses weren't monsters but megafauna mammals, meaning they were herbivores. They ate loads of greens, while their horns weren't also for mauling down prey or predators, but to shove snow from the top of the soil to access the grass underneath. Can you believe that? They're believed to have lived during one of the ice ages between 1.8 million years and 10,000 years ago and went extinct due to climate change. They're said to be the ancestral parents of the current-day rhinoceroses, but don't entirely resemble the ones we have today, especially with their absurd snow-shoveling horns. They had thick, bushy hair covering their bodies to survive their frigid environment. Direwolf. Those that have seen the HBO series Game of Thrones might have noticed the wolf cubs adopted by the ill-fated Stark children. Direwolves are the largest ancestral canine that ever lived. Also known as the Canis dirus, these big dogs ruled the plains of North America, where they battled the saber-toothed tiger. Like the saber-toothed tiger, the direwolf is hypercarnivorous. I know that sounds super scary, but don't panic. This simply means 70% of their diet consists of meat, and they have an insatiable hunger for flesh and bone marrow. Yup, thanks to their protruding flesh-slicing incisors, direwolves didn't have a habit of leaving any nutrients behind as they crushed their prey's bones and ate the marrow inside. In terms of size, direwolves measure about 5 feet from head to tail and weigh as much as 200 pounds. So you wouldn't stand a chance against these massive bone crushers. For your sake and mine, They were extinct during the Ice Age due to starvation or were hunted by early humans to extinction. Basilosaurus. Have you ever heard of a monster so dreaded that its name was enough to send chills down the spine of those who hear it, let alone its presence? If you read and watch a lot of folklore like me, then you might have guessed that the monster would dwell in the sea. And you'd have gotten it spot on, as the Basilosaurus, despite its name, is a whale that would have lived in the deepest part of the sea. Interestingly, this carnivorous whale measures about 66 feet long and feeds exclusively on flesh. Picture the horror that would rock our oceans if the present-day blue whale fed on flesh only. But that's not all. As freakishly large as the Basilosaurus might have been, it wasn't the largest flesh-eating whale that existed. More on the beast that holds that record later. That said, Basilosaurus would probably see humans as prey and be huge enough to kill us with minimum fuss. Furthermore, these guys chewed their food, which is rare with the present-day whale. So if Job in the Bible were to be swallowed by this whale, he'd have been shredded before getting to its stomach. Beelzebufo ampinga. Next up, we've got a critter that lurked in the Cretaceous undergrowth, the Beelzebufo ampinga. These amphibians are regarded as the ancestral parents of today's frogs. You dare not mess with the prehistoric frog, as it ate anything from insects, which were presumably bigger back then, lizards, and baby dinosaurs. So if these frogs existed still today, they might fancy plucking babies from their carriers with their long, sticky tongues. Measuring 40 centimeters in length and a weight of 4 kilograms, these guys dwarf even the largest frogs alive today. Look away, Goliath frog. Beelzes, a fancy name for such a dreadful frog, would hunt by lying hidden in the lush foliage like an aggressive prehistoric landmine waiting for an unsuspecting prey before snapping them up with their enormous jaws. Beelzes roamed present-day Madagascar some 70 million years ago. Sheesh, they had me worried for my pets for a minute there. Daeodon shoshinensis. These hogs were one heck of a carnivorous beast that lived between 18 and 25 million years ago in North America. They had a peculiar 1-meter-long skull that housed formidable jaws filled with teeth specially adapted for splintering bone and slicing flesh. It was as though their jaws came with the right set of cutleries. Daeodon shoshinensis had the guilty pleasure of feasting on defenseless early horses and camels. Could they be the reason unicorns are extinct too? Let's just assume I never said that. Joseph Artegacia. Close your eyes and picture a cute capybara, probably one you saw on YouTube. Now imagine the same capybara, but make it the size of a cow. There. That's what a Joseph Artegacia looked like. They were rodent species from the Pliocene to the early Pleistocene epoch some 4 million years ago. They're close relatives to Pacorana, a rare, slow-moving rodent still found in South America and living alongside terror birds, giant sloths, and saber-toothed cats. Researchers found that these critters were herbivorous, but we definitely wouldn't want to have been near them or their 1-foot-long incisors just to be safe. Therizinosaurus. One other extinct animal we hardly hear about is the Therizinosaurus, with its sharp and long claws. Its claws are one of the first things you'd notice about this critter, kind of like a woman who just got her nails done at the nail salon. And to its predators, it's a buzzing alarm that they better back off or risk being devoured. Their claws are so strong that they can be used to pick up a truck's tire. Although they have 3-foot-long claws attached to their big school bus-sized dinosaur bodies, they're believed to be plant eaters and use their claws to pick up leaves and other plant parts. Not to discredit the paleontologists, but Anyone who's seen a lady with long nails struggle with her debit card would know it's almost impossible to pluck leaves from a tree using your 3-foot-long nails. But since they're the expert and we're not, it's best not to cross the tyrannosaurus or question what the researchers have to say. Luckily, they went extinct 70 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. Terror bird. The terror bird earned its moniker from its nature. This bird, although flightless, is very terrifying. They were like ostriches with serious intermittent explosive disorders. But unlike ostriches, they stood about 10 feet tall and ruled South and Central America 60 million years ago. They were on top of the food chain and had no predators. You definitely didn't want to be around to see their massive beaks in action. They're believed to be very aggressive and would attack anything or anyone for food. Haast's eagle. Birds of prey are vicious killers, but those we currently have are nothing compared to this prehistoric eagle. The Haast's eagle was like a bird created with the Hulk's genes. These supersized winged killers lived on the South Island of New Zealand. They are the largest known eagle to ever live, weighing about 33 pounds. For comparison, the harpy eagle, which is the largest eagle, weighs only 20 pounds. I know you might think that's not much, especially for such a revered killer, but every pound of the bird was packed with 15 times the killing power. How did I come up with this? Well, since the Haast's eagle regularly hunted the flightless ostrich-like moa bird, which weighed about 510 pounds, it had to be some sort of bodybuilder to lift them to their nests. But that's not all. The scariest part about these birds is the fact that they only went extinct in the 15th century when the first Maori settlers executed all the moa. This means these mighty eagles lived with modern humans for at least 200 years. Interestingly, Maori mythology featured stories of a giant monster bird named Pauakai that swooped down to kill and eat human children. A coincidence? We don't think so. Before we move on to our next prehistoric creature, we have a quick challenge that'll just take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. Leave us a like, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications, and you'll win 10 years of incredible luck. Try it. It actually works. Moving on. Brontornis burmeisteri. Still on deadly birds we're glad to know are extinct, we've got the cousin of the terror bird, Brontornis burmeister. They also didn't fly, but what they lacked in flight, they made up for in menace. They were the second largest land bird, measuring 3 meters in height and weighing 400 kilograms. Like the terror birds, they had massive beaks and enormous claws built for only one thing: to rip their prey to shreds. Along with their vicious beaks and claws, they're believed to have been as quick as cheetahs, and their bony legs are strong enough to deliver bone-shattering kicks. Since they preyed on strong animals like the ancient armadillos, which were heavily armored and grew as big as a Kia Rio, they had to match them for strength and sheer power. They're believed to have roamed in South America, as most of their remains were found in several provinces of present-day Santa Cruz. This is one animal we should be thankful are no longer in existence. How do I explain to them that I'm just dressed up as a Mars Wrigley and not a tomato? Megalodon. Here's one predator you've probably heard of, as it has been depicted in several movies. The Megalodon were the largest sharks to have ever existed, and they have a name that screams horror all day long. But that's not the only spine-tingling fact about these guys. Their name translates to big tooth, to show what danger their jaws housed. Megalodon is believed to be the second largest fish ever to exist, with a length of 18 meters, which is 3 times the size of the largest great white ever recorded, and a weight of 90 metric tons. Unlike great whites that prefer to attack from the soft underside, megalodons are believed to have used their powerful jaws to break through the chest cavity, puncturing the heart and lungs of their prey. Research also showed that they had a cosmopolitan distribution, meaning they most likely targeted large prey such as seals, whales, and sea turtles. These monstrous fish killers were said to have been extinct due to the oceanic cooling associated with the onset of the ice ages, as megalodons preferred warmer waters. Likewise, the lowering of sea levels and subsequent loss of suitable nurseries may have played a part in getting them off Mother Nature's hands. Well, to think that these guys went extinct only 2.6 million years ago, meaning that they might have eaten many animals still alive today, like sea turtles, whales, and porpoises, gives me the heebie-jeebies. Dunkleosteus. This creature was not a beauty to behold. They were bone-chilling and enormous, with teeth that would instantly end any prey. Fossil remains suggest that their powerful jaws could deliver a bite force of 5,000 newtons and could shut them closed in 1/15th of a second. Talk about efficiency and speed. They hunt by creating a current to suck in smaller victims into their gaping maws, while they use their powerful jaws on bigger, tougher opponents like the megalodon. As if that wasn't freakish enough, the Dunkleosteus terrelli had an armor-plated head with nearly impenetrable skin, like a deadly polar bear with a protective helmet on. Naturally, therefore, they had an advantage over other predators that lived at the time. The only downside to this is that the armor would slow it down while moving. They were hypercarnivorous and are believed to have weighed almost 4 tons and measured 10 meters in length. With this protective mechanism, our guns and bullets would be useless against such a formidable predator. We'd have to build a Mechagodzilla to defeat it. So it's heartwarming to know that they went extinct 400 million years ago. Deinosuchus. Imagine a crocodile, the biggest one you could think of. Now multiply that by 4. That's how ginormous a Deinosuchus looks, just as the name hints. The name Deinosuchus translates to terrible crocodile, and boy did they live to that billing. Researchers found that these guys hunted the most dangerous dinosaurs that existed. Even Jurassic Park's T-Rex wasn't spared, as bite marks from these giant crocs were found on their fossils. This means the enormous crocs often battled with the king of the dinosaurs in a battle to the death, but still emerged victorious. A study showed that they may have had a lifespan of up to 50 years and grew at a rate similar to that of modern crocodiles, but definitely outgrowing their modern counterpart. Deinosuchus measured nearly 11 meters in length and resembled the crocodiles and alligators we have around today. They sported large, robust teeth built for crushing. Imagine having these guys living around the modern-day crocs and gators. Of course, no one would ever enter their territory. Leviathan. Leviathan melvillei, or Leviathan for short, was an ancient whale that ruled the oceans millions of years ago, with its nearest competitor being the megalodon. These apex predators lived in the Miocene epoch era, some 5 to 23 million years ago. They were believed to be about the size of current sperm whales, measuring about 18 meters in length and weighing around 62 tons. However, they're equipped with a set of large, menacing teeth that sperm whales don't have. Instead, they had the largest biting teeth found on any animal living or extinct. The Leviathan tooth discovered measured over 1 foot long and wouldn't be a pleasant sight for any prey or competitor. They hunted by chasing their prey until they wore out, dragging them to depths where they couldn't survive. Furthermore, researchers couldn't ascertain if they hunted in packs like the killer whale or hunted as a lone wolf. Either way, leviathans are formidable predators that wouldn't have bowed to any other creature. If we existed with these guys, it's safe to say we'd have stayed off fish and opted for sausage instead, as they'd rule the seas with reckless abandon. Meganeura. We all know how pesky bugs can be, but when you have a bug you can't swat is a whole other level of scary. And that's exactly what the Meganeura was, a massive bug. In fact, they were the biggest insects to ever exist. At first glance, they looked like a dragonfly, but when you remember dragonflies don't have wingspans that measure 2.5 feet, you'll begin to question what you're actually looking at. Meganeura was actually a member of a close family named griffin flies. They had giant wings, which they used to fly quickly like Falcon in Captain America. Also, their supersized eyes were very helpful in spotting predators and avoiding danger. They were formidable predators themselves, as they could snatch other flying insects mid-air with their legs and bring them to their mouths to eat without perching on any surface. If we had these guys still today, and they were flying around the sky, we probably wouldn't dare to get out of the house. And if one were to sneak into the house, we'd need more than just flip-flops and insecticides to get it out. Thankfully, they lived during the Permian and Carboniferous period some 300 million years ago. Archelon ischiros. Another creature that lived during the Cretaceous period is the 2-ton turtle Archelon ischiros. A couple of things made this turtle nothing like the sweet and warm turtles we presently have. Firstly, they were as big as a car, with the largest specimen ever found measuring over 4 meters in length and 5 meters wide. For comparison, the largest living turtle in the world, the leatherback sea turtle, is approximately 2 meters long, and the heaviest ever recorded, weighing around 650 kilograms. Secondly, and most freakishly, they were carnivores with powerful hooked beaks for squashing squid and munching through the shells of crustaceans. They were nicknamed the ruler turtle, and it's easy to see why. It's believed that the ruler turtle was very similar to the present-day leatherback sea turtles. However, unlike the leatherback turtle, which has a shell consisting of a single solid bone plate, the Archelon ischiros' shell consists of many separate bony and leathery plates. Titanoboa. Titanoboa, as the name suggests, was a titan of a snake. This prehistoric snake grew to 50 feet long and weighed as much as 2,500 pounds, with a body so thick it would reach a man's waist. With its size, it would compete with a semi-trailer for size on highways, and its weight is more than twice that of a polar bear. The giant anaconda, which prides itself on being the largest snake on the planet, measures only 15 feet in length. Like present-day anacondas, Titanoboa would lie in wait beneath the surface of a water body large enough to hide them, waiting for any prey that came close enough and swiftly seized and dragged underwater to become lunch. Their prey could be anything that ranged from formidable predators like Deinosuchusm, dinosaurs, and smaller herbivores. They were the largest known predator on the planet between the time dinosaurs were extinct, 65 million years ago, and the first appearance of Megalodon, 23 million years ago. If the Titanoboa existed still today, we'd have had a very different anaconda movie, one far more horrifying, not to mention how unsafe South America would be, especially for snake catchers. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. Which one of these monstrous creatures are you most afraid of? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.